This week on Christian World News, the Muslim country where Christianity is growing faster than anywhere else in the world. We give you exclusive access to the lives of Christians who are risking it all. Plus, the congressman who survived a horrific shooting returns to Capitol Hill and thanks God for miraculously saving his life. And from refugee to entrepreneur, meet the immigrants who are jump-starting the economy, one business at a time.
여러분 안녕하십니까? 크리스천 월드뉴스입니다. 전 세계 그 어느 곳에서보다 기독교가 빠르게 성장하고 있는 나라가 있습니다. 바로 이란인데요. 이란에는 기독교로 개종하는 무슬림들이 갈수록 늘고 있다고 합니다. 최근에도 많은 무슬림들이 집단 세례를 받았다고 하는데요. 오늘의 첫 소식으로 만나보시죠.
On a recent Friday, 600 miles east of Tehran, not too far from the Afghanistan-Turkmenistan border, 20 Iranians prepared for a secret journey out of their country. For their safety, we've concealed their identities and changed their names.
I've been waiting for this moment for nearly 9 years.
The mission took months to prepare. It was fraught with danger.
This was my wish before I die.
Afarin helped arrange their travel.
The moment the Iranian government discovers someone has changed their religion, they will try everything to stop the person from sharing their new faith with others.
Most of these new Christians paid a price for abandoning Islam.
The government scares Christians, imprisons them, fires them from their jobs, kicks them out of school, and many other tactics, all in an effort to stop them from evangelizing.
Afarin knew what they were about to experience could land them in trouble. CBN News met them shortly after they left Iran. Due to the sensitive nature of this report, CBN News has agreed not to reveal our location nor the names of the individuals associated with the story. And this is why they left Iran for a few days. For the first time, all 20 followed Christ in baptism.
Inside Iran, if the government found out that you were baptized, you would be automatic imprisonment. And so rather than do that inside their country, they came outside for a special event like this.
One by one, the young and old got dunked. Men, women, and children, all of whom renounced Muhammad and professed their faith in Jesus Christ, in a swimming pool rented for the occasion. 53-year-old Faribors waited 10 years for this moment.
I accepted Christ when I was 43 years old. There was no way for me to get baptized in Iran because of the dangers we face. Today, my faith is complete.
16-year-old Sarah accepted Christ 4 years ago.
I became a Christian after seeing Jesus in a dream. As I was getting baptized this morning, I felt the Holy Spirit come upon me in a new way.
Entire families got baptized.
It feels very good. I'm very happy. My whole family is happy.
And what makes this baptism all the more significant is that the majority of Iranians in attendance have come from the nation's third largest city of Mashhad, which also happens to be one of Shia Islam's most holiest cities. Ilahi, once a devout Muslim, said the Quran left her with more questions than answers.
This was the appointed time for me to get baptized. Also, I know God used the past 11 years to grow my faith, so I could endure difficult times.
Experts say her testimony and that of many others points to evidence that God is advancing his kingdom in Iran.
We had never seen such an unprecedented growth of an underground church anywhere else before.
Mike Ansari, an Iranian by birth, is director of operations at Mohabbat TV. In 2006, it became the first 24-hour Farsi Christian channel to beam gospel programs into Iran. The majority baptized this weekend came to faith by watching Mohabbat TV.
Some of these believers waited for many, many years to be baptized. They want to tell the world that they belong to Jesus. They want to tell the world that what was before is dead and now they're a new creation.
Ansari says many Iranians, especially the young, feel disillusioned with Islam, and record numbers are turning to this channel to learn more about Christianity.
Roughly about 16 million Iranians within the last 12 months have viewed one or more of our programs on satellite TV and also on their mobile devices. That roughly translates to about 20% of Iran's population. And that is an overwhelming number.
Mohabbat is now one of 4 satellite channels broadcasting continuous Christian programming into Iran.
Since we didn't know other believers or were part of a house church, there was nobody to help us grow in our faith. We could only grow through watching Mohabbat TV and with the Holy Spirit's help to get stronger in our faith.
Nathan Rastampour led a house church in Iran for 10 years until he was forced to flee because of religious persecution. Now he hosts a show on Mohabbat TV, teaching folks how to safely run a house church inside Iran.
God is using this house church show to not only share the gospel, but also to equip the house churches and make leaders.
And those who track the growth of Christianity around the world say the one place where the faith is growing the most is in the Islamic Republic of Iran. Edward Hovsepian says this is nothing short of a miracle. His brother, Haik Hovsepian, an Assemblies of God pastor, was murdered in Iran for his faith in 1994. He says no matter how hard the government tries, it hasn't been able to stop the spread of Christianity.
They are very scared of the Bible, and they realize many Iranians are attracted to Christianity. The government persecutes them, hoping to undo the effect, but the result is the opposite, as more come to faith.
After a few days of fellowship, teaching, and encouragement, the 20 believers returned to Iran, energized and committed to sharing the love of Christ with their countrymen. Ansari says these exclusive images should encourage Christians that God is moving on the hearts of Iranians.
There's a lot of good news that is coming out of Iran, and we need to focus on that and celebrate that. We're hoping that the results that are being shared with the church in the West would encourage the body of Christ in the Western world that God is very much alive among Muslims and he's doing a great job.
George Thomas, CBN News.
몇 달 전 공화당 야구 연습 때 총격범의 공격으로 부상을 당했던 스티브 스칼리스를 비롯한 4명의 국회의원들이 다시 회복해 미국 의회로 돌아왔다고 합니다.
Scalise thanked those who helped save his life, including Capitol Hill police officers David Bailey and Crystal Griner. He told his colleagues how he saw answered prayer that very day.
It starts with God. When I was laying out on that ball field, the first thing I did once I was down and I couldn't move anymore is I just started to pray. And I will tell you, it gave me an unbelievable sense of calm, knowing that at that point it was in God's hands. But I prayed for very specific things. And I'll tell you, pretty much every one of those prayers was answered. The power of prayer is something that you just cannot underestimate.
4등급의 허리케인이 푸에르토리코를 강타한 지 일주일 후 절망 가운데 있었던 산후안 섬 주민들에게 도움의 손길이 이어졌습니다. 미국 정부의 원조와 함께 CBN 오퍼레이션 블레싱 팀도 이들을 찾아 희망을 전하고 있는데요. 이곳의 소식을 함께 만나보시죠.
David, so tell us what's going on there. How are you helping?
Gary, the need here is absolutely enormous. If you've seen the images coming out of Puerto Rico, you know there is so much destruction here. And water and food and hygiene supplies, all of the essentials that the people need here are running scarcer by the day. So Operation Blessing is providing food, number one. Today we started working with a bakery. We're baking fresh bread and distributing thousands of loaves of bread every day. It's one of the first bakeries open here in the capital, San Juan. And we're working with the local government, with the mayor's office, to start bringing in water purification equipment because water is a huge need. And when I flew in, I came in with hundreds of solar lamps. These are solar-powered lights, and they are providing comfort to thousands of children tonight. children that have been sleeping almost for a week now since the storm in complete pitch darkness. There's still no electricity on this island, and they're saying it could be months before the first connections start to appear, even here in San Juan in the capital city. So this is one of the worst disasters I've seen in my long career doing this, Gary, and I just don't even know where to start. There's so much to do here.
Well, I was going to ask you, David, some people are saying it's much worse than what video shows. When you're actually there, you can see the devastation. How bad is it?
Gary, as I said, it's just one of the worst disasters I've ever seen in terms of the scale. You know, the Haiti earthquake was horrific. The death toll was huge, but it was fairly localized in many respects. Whereas here you have an entire island, and this is a big island. Look at it on a map. This entire island is flattened, homes down everywhere. I'm in the capital city, the most prosperous city in the island, where most structures are made of concrete, and even here in San Juan, there's mega destruction. Operation Blessing really needs help in responding to this one. These are American citizens here in Puerto Rico. These are our brothers and sisters, and they need us right now. They're really in a time of need here, and Operation Blessing is here. We need your support to help us respond.
David, I know they probably welcome having the bread, having the water, and also those solar lights. How amazing are those? What's the greatest need, in your opinion, right now?
I think the greatest need is water. I was just at an old people's home, and their only supply of water was in a trash can. They had a large plastic trash can full of water, and they were scooping out bottles of water out of this trash can. That was their water reserve. That's an old people's home here in the capital city. We're hearing reports of, you know, just a severe lack of water right across the island.
And how long do you expect this crisis to last, David?
Gary, one of the local officials yesterday told me that September 2001 changed the world. When September 11th happened in 2001, it changed the world. But this September, he said it's changed Puerto Rico forever. They don't feel like this island's ever going to be the same that it was, whether that's good or bad. They just don't know when the end is in sight for this crisis. We've only just begun. There is a very long road ahead for recovery in Puerto Rico.
Okay, David Darg. God bless you. Thank you, David.
Thanks, Gary.
한 미국인 목회자가 터키의 감옥에 수감됐습니다.
Speaking at a public event, President Erdogan mentioned the U.S. government's request for Pastor Andrew Brunson's release. Then he brought up a Muslim cleric living in the U.S. who is also a political rival. You give him to us, and we'll give you this one, Erdogan said. So far, no response from the U.S. government on those remarks.
파키스탄에서는 또 한 명의 기독교인이 신성 모독죄로 사형을 선고받았습니다. 모바일 어플리케이션을 통해 무함마드를 조롱하는 자료를 공유했다는 혐의인데요. 영국의 파키스탄 기독교인 회장인 윌슨 차우드리는 나딤을 둘러싼 혐의가 거짓임을 주장하고 있습니다.
What we've been told by Nadim James is quite clearly because he had married a Muslim woman and that Muslim woman had converted to Christianity, this had caused angst in the Muslim community, in particular to the man who had accused him of the blasphemy. And for that marriage, for the love he showed for this woman, for the commitment he made to her, and for her finding Christ through that marriage, he's now been sentenced to death.
많은 기독교인들이 파키스탄을 빠져나와 미국에서 피난처를 찾고 있습니다. 하지만 쉽지만은 않은 일인데요. 무슬림 난민들의 유입으로 미국 내의 안전을 우려하는 사람들이 있기 때문입니다. 하지만 난민 문제를 접할 때 우리가 놓치고 있던 부분이 있지는 않을까요? 여기 한 여성을 만나보시죠.
Utica, New York calls itself a city that loves refugees. There's a humanitarian aspect to that, of course, but there's also the economics.
Upstate cities in New York, in the 50s, they were robust, a lot of things going on. And then as you progressed, whether it be the knitting mills, whether it be the iron mills, whatever, migrated into either going south or, as we know now, it's global and they're actually out of the country. Those jobs left, and so did some of our population.
After decades of decline, this Rust Belt town is growing, fueled by an influx of highly motivated labor.
Without refugees and immigrants, without an increase in population, there is no recovery.
Shelley Callahan is the executive director of the Mohawk Valley Resource Center for Refugees in Utica. Their main mission is resettlement.
It's a very American program in the sense that it is a pull yourself up by your bootstraps sort of a program. You know, get a job, hit the ground running, even if you don't know any English. You know, we've found workarounds for that with employers, but refugees come here owing their airfare back to the federal government. And that bill comes due 6 months post-arrival.
Ali al-Hashimi came to the U.S. as an Iraqi refugee and eventually settled in Utica.
In my country, I own my business, but because of the war and everything, the business is closed. And still the building there, it's like the dust's in it and not open.
Al-Hashimi took some classes and got a job quickly. But after only a few weeks, he realized he'd rather use his skills as an entrepreneur to open a new restaurant in Utica.
I tried to find catchy name, so I called it hummus and tabbouleh. Like a lot of people, they know what's hummus, they know what's tabbouleh, but they don't know where it's come from. So hummus tabbouleh is Middle East food.
About an hour west in Syracuse, New York, a new restaurant and training program called With Love teaches refugees, immigrants, and low-income students the skills needed to launch their own food businesses. Adam Sudman is the program manager and came up with the concept.
We're a restaurant, but we're also a school.
Every 6 months, the type of cuisine changes. Today, it's Pakistani fare. In the next few months, who knows?
Folks are coming from different parts of the world, and they sometimes cook beautiful things and connect with what they love about their culture as opposed to what you see on the TV, all those things that are hidden from the cameras, all those lovely things about culture and family and hospitality through food.
The students working at With Love turn over every 3 to 9 months. On the front end, With Love employs an entrepreneur in residence. That student is the one who comes up with the menu and who really runs the business side of things, learning everything from working the line back in the kitchen to negotiating rent.
So the end goal, ideally, is for that person to go and open their own place in the neighborhood.
Sarah Robin is the current entrepreneur in residence. She fled Lahore, Pakistan after being persecuted for becoming a Christian.
My family and the culture and everybody wanted to kill me. And I have been poisoned once. I have been hit like many times from my family members. No matter what happened, like God was always with me. He saved my life.
Robin says God opened doors for her to come to the U.S. and is still opening doors as she works to be successful here.
I never thought when I was in my country that one day I'll open up my own restaurant, I'll work here. But as I came here as a refugee, I thought that I need to learn a really great skills for my life. And I love to cook, so I'm so blessed that I am in this program.
Robin has already started the process of opening her own restaurant, working with Sudman to find a location and talking with investors about her vision.
I want to bring a Pakistani vibe in this country, and the concept of the food will be a street food.
As more refugee entrepreneurs like Robin are trained and given the tools to start their own restaurants, food trucks, or catering businesses, Sudman hopes people will be drawn to invest their time and money in the urban core of Syracuse.
Rather than all those professionals living out there and not coming into the core, you start to bring some of those funds and some of that life and energy into the city.
2 Rust Belt cities, thousands of refugees, who with just a small amount of support are eager to become contributing members of their communities. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Utica, New York.
최근 우크라이나에서는 희망의 징조가 나타나고 있습니다. 러시아와의 갈등이 지속되고 있는 상황에서도 수천 명이 거리에 모여 하나님을 찬양했는데요. 역사상 가장 큰 행사였다고 하네요.
Families came one by one, young and old, to the heart of Ukraine for a gathering centuries in the making, thanks to Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation.
We are gathered here tonight because of the courage and determination of one man 500 years ago to make a difference.
More than 200,000 filled the streets of Kiev to enjoy exhibits, play zones, and musical performances. They also heard from international guest speakers, including CBN's own Terry Mewson.
God is not looking for men and women of power and wealth. He's looking for people who are looking for him. I say to you the same thing I say to my own country, but I speak it to you as Ukrainians. Be the one. Be the one who lives by the book, the one who stands by the truth, the one who honors God.
Inspirational speaker Nick Wojcik brought a special message to Ukraine's youth.
My heart
is for the children of Ukraine, the next generation.
Наступне покоління.
And I want you, Ukraine, to consider me your brother,
вашого брата,
your friend,
вашого друга,
who will come back to Ukraine again and again and again.
Знову і знову і знову.
Because I want to see more hope and love in your country.
Superbook's Gizmo also joined in on the celebration as children heard the gospel in their own language and watched Bible stories come alive on screen. The evening ended with worship, and event organizers say several thousand people gave their lives to Christ. While the Reformation happened 500 years ago, the message is still clear today. Jesus is the answer. Heather Sells, CBN News.
오늘 준비한 소식은 여기까지입니다. 저는 다음 주에 다시 찾아오겠습니다. 시청해주신 여러분 고맙습니다.